You're at PQShield from day 2. What's your story? What are you saying?
What right do we have to be in the conversation? Having our fingerprints on every single algorithm that's been standardized and the ones that are to be standardized still is a really great sort of opening situation.
Yeah. Beyond the standards, what about industry credentials?
As is often the way when you have these types of changes, there are lots of different working groups that spin up. So NIST has got its own NCCOE. You've got groups like MITRE that have got the Post-Quantum Coalition. And then you've got other standards bodies like IETF, ETSI. You've got the international bodies themselves. So you've got things like ANSI, you've got BSI, you've got NCSC here in the UK. And then you go down to things like RISC-V open source hardware platform. There are crypto extensions that need to be written, and our team have been writing those too. So we're involved pretty much anywhere that PQC conversation is happening. You will most likely find someone from PQShield in that room.
What about the team? I think standards and algorithms, this is all about math and crypto, but now we're talking about implementation.
Absolutely. And I think what's been lovely to see is as we've grown the team out, we've now got a really strong engineering team. You know, we've got people who've got many years experience in silicon, many years experience in FPGA, many years experience in side channel attacks, fault injection, fuzzing, you know, all of the techniques that are needed. I'm very, very pleased to say that I can walk into pretty much any room in the world and we've got some expertise there that I can stand behind, right? It's a real good thing from a sales point of view. It's really lovely to be able to go in there and kind of know that you are definitely on the right side of the conversation. You're most likely to be right. And quite often we get customers who ask, you know, oh, I read this paper the other day. Yeah, it was really interesting. Can you tell me about it? And I go, well, don't ask me. One of our guys was the co-author on that. So do you want to speak to them directly? And it's a really lovely way to be able to kind of bring that expertise to life.
So that's the crypto expertise, implementation expertise, first time right, which is particularly important for semiconductor industry, and also the product security testing, I think, is
very much so. Yeah, all of those things have to be there, and I think that's what differentiates PQShield amongst many, is that whilst we were working on the standards, we were also in parallel developing products. We were going beyond that and say, well, if you're going to put this into silicon and it's going to go into a bank card, right? It's going to need these high levels of protection, and when you change that underlying maths, you've made all of those things harder. And so it's that depth and breadth that I think makes us in a position where we can really put those solutions in front of customers and they can adopt them straight away.
That's all nice and a good warm-up, I think, but customers are not buying our team, right? So how do you sell our products?
With our products, the fact that we can go from any small IoT device right the way up to the biggest server class device on the software side of things give us that breadth. At the same time, being able to then go into hardware, so we can go from first generation software to second generation hardware and really excel in the security and the implementation of that hardware piece, again, differentiates us from pretty much everyone else in the market. And those products themselves are designed to work together, to be modular, and that allows us to pick and choose the right products in order to solve that particular use case for that particular customer in that particular vertical.
Sometimes customers require products in the field. How do you answer these?
And in a strong position there, we've got people like Microchip who are already in silicon with our IP. People like AMD who've been working very closely with them and their customers in the networking space. People like Lattice Semiconductors, very small footprint solutions on small FPGA devices, which are used in many different parts of data centers, etc. And obviously working with those names gives an extra level of credibility to the work that we've already done. But we've also then had to try and go through each one of the kind of key verticals we've got. So in automotive, for example, working with someone like Mirise Technologies in Japan, we can work with them to influence how those standards will end up in a car in 3 or 4 years' time. So we've got people like Lockheed Martin, NVIDIA Weapon Systems, and Raytheon. They're preparing for the DoD in the US or the MOD here in the UK to start rolling those requirements through all of their programs of record. And they need enabling with expertise. So our products and our expertise combined really works well for them. When it comes to the more enterprise space, they're going to need a lot of implementation work. So the systems integrators are really important. So we've got really good, strong relationships with people like Capgemini, Tata Consulting, EY, and many others that really allow us to enable them to enable this transition to happen for the enterprise.